6:04. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing you. Are you ready for a busy Tuesday show? We're all over the map, not just on land, but in water too today. We got a lot of ground to cover, y'all. We are broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. Learn more about them at 180pros.com. What's the latest on the back and forth online between Jeff Landry and Mitch Landrew? We'll get to Jeff Crouere later on this hour. We're checking in Ascension Parish. We're checking in downtown Baton Rouge. We are checking in with the Louisiana Chemistry Association. And oh, yeah, it's SharkWeek. Let's get after it. Top stories and trending. Starts us off with the Secretary of State's office. They will unveil the commissioned design for the 2026 I Voted sticker today at 1 p.m. That'll be at the old Governor's Mansion, 502 North Boulevard, downtown Baton Rouge. If you want to show up, the public is invited. Click. There we go. The Department of Children and Family Services may offer performance-based bonus pay to employees. This according to a letter from Attorney General Liz Murrill. Secretary Rebecca Harris requested the AG's opinion. According to the letter released yesterday, the letter says the program was consistent with the state constitution. The proposed incentive pay program must still be approved by the State Civil Service Commission for final approval. Louisiana posted the nation's highest construction employment growth rate over the past year, with employment rising 7.7% between June of 2025 and June of 2026. This according to a new analysis of federal labor data by the Associated General Contractors of America. Louisiana's construction workforce reached 147,000 folks in June of this year. That's up from 136,500 a year earlier, an increase of 10,500 jobs. Parts of Front Bruley will be without power tonight. The town put this out there. According to officials, the outage is planned for 8 p.m. It's expected to last 2 hours. The outage is being done to allow Entergy to perform maintenance in the area. The difficult, tedious search of the Baton Rouge landfill for the body of 15-year-old Jadarius Miniweather has entered its third week. 45-minute shifts, fully geared from head to toe. A search team consisting of members from BRPD, FBI, EMS, and several other agencies performing extremely slow and excruciating work as they rake through yards and yards of waste material up at the landfill in hopes of finding the remains. This is expected to get even more difficult as the heat continues to rise. Before you roll with what's trending, got to go to the first trending stories out of Japan this morning. A magnitude 6.8 earthquake struck south of Kumamoto on Japan's Kyushu Island. That was like earlier this morning, or I guess earlier this morning for us. The quake occurred at a shallow depth, significantly increasing the potential for intense ground shaking near the epicenter. As I understand it, they're still under tsunami warning right now, but all nuclear facilities are intact.
Yeah. My goodness. Yeah. President Trump put off a major escalation with Iran for now with an effort to, come to some sort of agreement to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah.
So what are we looking at now? 2 or 3 nights in a row with no attacks after 13 to 14 in a row with attacks.
You have a good point. Am I wrong? But I felt like we haven't had an attack since maybe Friday or Saturday. Does that seem
right? I don't know. I was all basketball this weekend, so completely dialed out of news.
I haven't heard of an attack.
We'll call it night 3. We'll call this night 3.
I just know my gas prices are still high. Yeah, exactly. I know. All right, the latest on the Nolan Wells case is witnesses say he had been drinking pretty heavily with his friends on Horn Island the day before he went missing. Okay, Brian, this story is just insane. I wasn't dialed in at all until this morning.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, they're all in Mississippi right now crying that the racism from top to bottom. I hate everything about. We're going to talk about this tomorrow in Legally Serve with Attorney Franz Borghardt for sure. But I hate everything about the story. First and foremost, the kid lost his life.
I know.
So here's the hardest part about this for me, though, is he's a black kid with a bunch of white friends. And now all the white friends have the finger pointed at them. And the message from Ben Crump and Al Sharpton is don't make a black friend. And like you just
what?
Seriously. If you
I have black friends.
But if one of your black friends dies, it's instantly going to be your fault without any proof, without any evidence, without anything. It's automatically the friends killed him. And that's all the evidence is pointing towards he wanted to stay to talk with a girl.
Yep.
Of course they were drinking all day long because that's what you do as an 18-year-old in the Gulf of America. Like that's what I wouldn't expect him to do anything otherwise. And now they say, well, he had many a number of alcoholic drinks that day. Oh, well, they're trying to impugn him. No, they all did. They all do. Everybody does. It's not a negative to say that the 18-year-old was drinking. It's just a matter of what was.
And it was the 4th of July. Everybody was drinking.
Right.
I was drinking.
Right. So it just the message here from when Ben Crump and Al Sharpton roll into town is be divisive, hate each other. Because as long as we're divisive and we all hate each other, they get paid. And that's all they care about.
I hate this. I do. It's 2026. Portobello's Grill in Baton Rouge closed its doors permanently on Sunday, according to a social media post. That's the one off Jones Creek. Bocage has been closed, 3 years now?
Has it been that? I don't think has it been that long?
I think so.
Can't be that long.
So I live in Terra. We used to go to Bocage all the time and just at the bar and have my gosh, the chicken parm.
Yeah. Well, it's a Peter Sclafani place. So what's the name of his outfit? Something Raving Fans. But it's Sclafani's place.
Yeah.
So the food is top notch. That Portobello's though, I thought was a staple off of George O'Neill at Jones Creek, the Marblegate Shopping Center. Was always a staple. So I don't know. I'm curious where that's at now. Like why, was business just off? Is business off everywhere? Is he a casualty?
Be.
Well,
Portobello's was always crowded. I never went out to that location, but when I did, it was crowded. So
only time I was out that way was for the Jones Creek Area Business Association. The JCAB would have their meetings out there, and I would stop by for, it's so hard to get to those meetings, but like every once, like maybe every third month or so, I'd swing by a meeting, just off to the side room for lunch and whatnot. It's always fantastic because Sclafani's awesome.
Yeah,
but,
heartbreaking.
I know because trying to think what else is in that shopping center right now.
Supposedly, if you read the comments on Facebook, there is, and I'm going to butcher the name, but it's an Italian Bistro. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. A lot of people in the comments were saying there is a competitor that opened up like right next door to maybe across the street. And
that's George's is across the street.
I don't know what it is, but a lot of people were chirping in the comments about this new Italian restaurant next door. But I highly doubt that hurt Portobello's.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're at 612 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Saints report to camp tomorrow. We'll be getting on that in just a quick second. Do need to remind you about the Guarantee Health Solutions. GuaranteeHealth.com is the website. GuaranteeHealth.com. An idea born out of experience. Rachel Fricke, founder of Guarantee Health, was going through personal tragedy, and it was just unbelievably transactional, cold, sterile, not the way that a medical situation should be handled. You're talking about the worst time of your life with a loved one. Where was the warmth? Where was the care? And why would someone want to tout the business that's behind that? Well, she came up with a better way. There's a 4-pillar solution, and it all starts with patient relationship. There's a 4-pillar solution over at GuaranteeHealth.com. And look, this doesn't have to stem from tragedy. Every interaction that a patient has with a doctor, or a doctor has with a patient, or any member of a staff at a medical office has with a patient is a chance to build a relationship. So if you run an urgent care, a primary care, if you run a physical therapy, all the way up to a full-on hospital, you'll want to visit GuaranteeHealth.com, GuaranteeHealth.com.
So, Alan, good morning. I was watching CBS Evening News with David Muir, and he was covering that one last night, that y'all had a tornado. I was like, oh, my goodness. And I had a feeling it was about where you live. That's it. Brett says Bistro Italia. It moved from Core Senior Shore. Yeah, but I doubt that hurt or developed. Can you send me your raw sound bites of, no, I have them. Never mind, disregard.
Of what?
Because Neurojust is not an old with me August 3rd.
Uh-huh.
I was going to take the raw bites of Jordan and I was going to repurpose them for endorsement. But I have them. Taylor's going to me. Alan, do you have damage at all?
.617 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. It is sports time. Saints report to camp tomorrow. The second training camp under head coach Kellen Moore. I know they report to camp today. Practice begins tomorrow. Excuse me. 6-11 was the record last year, but there was a lot of optimism at the end of the season when Tyler Shuck replaced Spencer Rattler at quarterback. Started to see some things move in the right direction. Luke Johnson covers the Saints for NOLA.com. Tells our news partners over Louisiana Radio Network, fans, well, they should be hopeful headed into year two. Cut 16, please.
I really love what Tyler Shuck did in 9 starts as rookie last year. I think he's done nothing but the right things this summer, and I believe he is ready to be the guy in New Orleans. And then you look at what they added around him this offseason. They fortified every single weakness they had, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Especially with the wide receiver position. Well, I shouldn't say especially the wide receiver position because the running back position has been bolstered up as well. But the bottom line of it is Tyler Shuck has some toys to play with. He's going to have weapons to throw to. They've built him out an arsenal to be sure. So there's positivity on that side. Shuck's returning. You got big free agent additions. I said bolstered the running back position. Travis Etienne moves in. You get guard David Edwards. On the defensive side of the football, Caden Ellis. Johnson says there won't be as many preseason battles to earn a starting spot, but Johnson is more intrigued by depth battles like in the running back room. Cut 17.
Devin Neal, Audric Esme, and we'll see if Kendry Miller's healthy enough to go. But it's a lot of stuff like that. Is Christian Miller, their second-round draft pick, going to find a way into the rotation early? Same with Vernon Broughton, who only played 1 game as a rookie last year. They got some spots where it's going to be fascinating to see who carves out a role for this team.
Speaking of the wide receivers I was talking about, Johnson talks about Olave being potentially a top playmaker for the Saints this year. Cut 18.
give him a full year with Tyler Shuck. His numbers were really, really good with Shuck. And it's not just the catches, receptions, and yards and all that stuff. They were taking shots downfield with him. They were getting him in the end zone. I think that's a really good sign for me. I think he's going to have a big year as long as he stays healthy.
It's all about momentum. It's all about momentum and belief, really, when you're starting off a season. Closing the book on the Dennis Allen chapter, as short as that was, closing that book is a good thing. Starting off a fresh season together is an amazing thing. Here's the Fox Business Report. All right, I don't know who's in the chat yet, but let's start a little conversation here. What restaurant has gone away that you'd like to see come back? And what is your underrated gem in Baton Rouge? About as clean as you're going to see to start off a Tuesday morning, y'all. And we're not going to have too many more mornings like this. The school's going to be getting back in the next 2 weeks. Well, over the course of the next 2 weeks, predominantly next week. But we're looking good. I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish looks great. 10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks great. 10 eastbound coming back across from West Baton Rouge is clean as well. Now, surface streets, I don't show any accidents to report this morning. However, Baton Rouge's website, they forgot to clear the board last night. So if you're opening up the board to see where the incidents are, it's going to be stacked up. But they're like they're all from like 7 and 8 o'clock last night. So everything that's on there is good to go by now. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. I want to talk about the Portobello's thing, but I don't, because I don't want to speculate too much. I don't know a whole lot. But when a staple closes down, and I'd call Portobello's a staple. I mean, it's been around.
Oh, yeah.
Anything's been around that long, you kind of have to, right? Especially when you have such a qualified person at the helm. And is that a sign of things to come? Is it just a one-off?
I
don't know. You had gotten with you were asking in the chat what was the restaurant that had moved in, and it was Bistro Italia.
Yes.
I don't want to like take shots at some place I've never been before. I just don't see where that looks like it would be competition.
I don't think so either.
It looks very. I've never been there before, so I can't speak to this with any authority. But it looks very mall Italian.
I was thinking not to be taking a tats, but it almost seems like Olive Garden Italian, kind of ish.
Same thing.
Where Portobello's is more upscale Italian.
Well, it's Portobello's runs a gambit. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not just Italian. So, kind of asking the question to the chat, and I want to get it out there for y'all as well, is what Baton Rouge restaurant would you like to see make a comeback? And this is one that it's a topic that comes up from time to time. Keith says he wants to see Pancho's Mexican Buffet come back. I'm on board.
Oh yeah,
Raise
with the
the flag. Raise the flag. Byron says Gambino's on Government. I don't know that. I don't remember Gambino's. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I'm here for it. Like, I'm here for more of everything across the board, you know. But I'm not familiar with Gambino's. Now, one that I would like to see come back, and this was a chain. It's gonna sound so stupid. Do you remember Fazoli's?
Yes, I do.
With the Italian sandwiches?
Yes.
I would love for that to come back. I know it's not the hippest idea, or it's not a local, it's nothing like that. But man, that would hit the spot when you hit it. Renee has the best answer. We can shut it down now. Brunei's. Oh, I miss Brunei's.
I don't know what Brunei's is.
Cajun food off of Flannery. You had the little bread, the little stuffed bread. Oh, what was the little stuff? Petit pain? Oh my goodness. Brunei's was phenomenal. Phenomenal. Game changer right there. Great answer, Renee. Troy says Cafe Italia, what's Bistro Italia, is very, very good, and I would have to be kidnapped to eat at an Olive Garden. Yeah, you and me both on that end. My kids want to go to Olive Garden.
So the one restaurant I would love to bring back, and I found this on Tiger Dropping, so I don't know how true it is. I want D'Angelo's to come back.
Yep.
I love D'Angelo's. Okay, coming to find out, somebody on the little thread on Tiger Droppings said go to Bistro Italia, what we were just talking about. Apparently, D'Angelo's nephew, who works with him forever, that's his restaurant.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, then there's hope then. Like I said, I didn't want to impugn something I've never been to before.
I didn't know.
I don't want to take shots because I've never been there. I'm just.
I had to give it a try now. Garlic
they say never judge a book by its cover, and if you look at mini mall strip shopping center with the generic sign out front, it's just there's not a lot that's going to draw me in there.
Interesting. See, the garlic nuts were always good at D'Angelo's.
Yeah.
And then the parm was good. It's just, and it was always in that little shopping center with Rouse's on Bluebonnet and Perkins?
No.
When they first started, they were somewhere else. And then D'Angelo's closed, and then they came back. And that's when they opened in that little shopping center across from Perkins Row. And that was about the time that I moved to Baton Rouge in 2017. And then they closed down. So I've only
that Rouse's hasn't been a Rouse's very long. That was a Mathern's, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, that was a Mathern's for some time. That was their first venture beyond Kenilworth. So,
see, Byron saying while you're looking it up, Bistro Italia is good. Nino's is underrated.
Nino's on Bluebonnet,
yes.
Same shopping center.
Okay.
Same shopping center. Nino's is in the front of that shopping center. That's fantastic. They've been on for Foodie Friday before. The couple that bought Nino's from Nino, they have put so much care and love into rebuilding what Nino had started.
Yeah.
They are doing a phenomenal. The only thing limiting them is square footage. It's
really?
They're ridiculous. They're awesome. But the Louis D'Angelo's was always on Corsi, I thought.
Okay. But they did open up one near the Regiment Fitness, near that Office Depot right there.
See, you can't have two Italian restaurants in the same strip shopping center.
Now, you asked the second question, Brian. What is an underrated gym? And I'm going to go from Italian for a little bit to Mexican, Veracruz.
Veracruz is
very good.
Well,
it's
okay,
different
but don't
kind of Mexican.
You can't. Yeah, I was going to say you can't just straight up call it Mexican because it's coastal different. Mexican.
Right. It's way different.
Yeah.
It's way different
not
than
like
Tex-Mex.
anything else that's in Baton Rouge. It's not like anything else in Baton Rouge. Oh, we got to get the news in just a quick minute. Let me remind you about the folks. Let me remind you about Matherns. You know where to find them. Downtown on 3rd Street, Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, and of course the OG location, Highland, just west of Kenilworth Parkway. Matherns has got you covered, especially as grilling season rolls on. Go to that Kenilworth location, go to the back of the store, hit the A-Bears specialty meats freezer, grill up something a little bit different. When you're firing up the grill, how about grabbing some chicken Diablos? These are like jalapeno poppers inside of chicken. It's amazing. Was throwing some of those on the grill for 4th of July. They're in there like kebab style. Easy peasy to prepare. Just grill, flip, little turn and burn going on. They've got you covered. Matherns. And by the way, if you get the app, you're earning cash towards more groceries every time you shop at Matherns.
Okay, so they did start on Cresson, Troy says. And then, okay, I was right. Yeah, D'Angelo's was in the space next to the Office Depot in the same shopping center. Yeah, it was between Regimen and Office Depot. Right?
Steven's got it. Steven says, okay, see, I never went to the one over there on Blue Bonnet. There was a D'Angelo's on Corsi. I don't even know if it's there. Jamanco's on Government, I remember. I don't remember Gambino's on Government. Byron, were you possibly talking about Giamanco's and not Gambino's? Because Gambino's is the bakery on Goodwood.
See, that's what's confusing me. When I hear Gambino's, I think that's my house. See, Scott will throw all these restaurants my way. Because y'all are the same age, roughly. And I'm like, and I never grew up in Baton Rouge. But all these staples. Poncho's doing one of them. Good morning, Jeff. How are you? We are in break right now. 2 minutes, okay? We'll come to you. Okay, no problem. How do you pronounce that? Byron said I was talking about Giamanco's.
Giamanco's.
Yeah.
No, easy mistake right there.
Semolina's.
Oh, snap. Semolina's. So we had a Semolina's in Covington as well. I've done Semolina's for a homecoming dinner before.
I hate that they shut down here.
Same.
Now they're cocktails, like an old fashioned.
My bachelor party started at Ralph and Kaku's. That's how much I liked Ralph and Kaku's. Oh, this party's getting bigger. Wait, I got text going. Oh, Chandler says, raise the effing flag. Ponchos was a seminal memory of my childhood. Yes.
Where were they when they were here?
Ponchos? Florida Boulevard. Where were they on Florida, though? Were they by Broadmoor? Were they? No. That's not where near Broadmoor. $97.72 Florida Boulevard. So yeah, right there by the. So it was behind the Broadmoor Theater, which Chandler says Planet Fitness. That Planet Fitness is gone and the Broadmoor Theater's gone. So ain't there no more. I thought that's where it was. I got it right. So that Planet Fitness is now a club for fitness, and that's where I work out most of the time. Till school gets back in, then I'll be back over at the Y. Yeah.
See, I agree, Brett. That Indian restaurant.
What Indian restaurant?
SWAGAT.
Where was that?
That's over there on 40, I think.
So we don't have enough Indian food in Baton Rouge.
Bayleaf is damn good too.
Bayleaf is good.
What's that Indian buffet on Ascension?
India's.
Yeah, that one's really good too. Is Florida Lee supposed to be reopened by now? Yes.
Good luck with that.
Right.
Oh, my word. Shout out to the glorified crew over in the Facebook chat. So many great answers coming in, and not the usual ones that I was expecting. For example, so it wasn't Gambino's on government, it was Jamanko's on government. That was that Byron was talking about. But Todd says, I want to see Semolina's come back. Semolina's was bomb. Like non-expensive Italian, a lot of pasta, a lot of heavy pasta.
Put you in a coma.
Oh yeah, dodo food for sure. But there's a lot of great suggestions coming in over on the Facebook chat. Get in if you the Baton Rouge restaurant you would like to see come back, just return to us. And yeah, not the usual suspects this time around. I love that. And well, somebody did get in Florida Lee Pizza, so I guess that counts as one of the usual suspects. All right, it's time for us to have. Speaking of restaurants, there's no shortage of where this guy is at. Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics down in New Orleans. How are you, man?
Yeah, I miss Semolina's too. That's a great place.
Oh yeah, we had one in Covington when I was growing up. That was a good little homecoming spot in Covington. Like you know, take your homecoming date to Semolina's. You're not breaking the bank, but you still had the candlelit dinner. So
right,
yeah,
I had good memories there. Definitely,
absolutely. Jeff Landry and Mitch Landrew might need to split a bottle of wine over to Semolina's. Let me start with this. Who asked Mitch Landrew to get involved in this in the first place?
No one.
Okay.
Yeah, he's looking for some attention, I guess, and wanted to insert himself into this. And I mean, so they got into it. And, Mitch Landry's got a lot of vulnerabilities because, his tenure, we had a lot of problems during his tenure as a mayor. And I'll still never forgive him for taking down the monuments. Which I think was totally unnecessary. And the way he went about it, it was all about to promote Mitch Landrew. And that's what Mitch Landrew is concerned about, Mitch Landrew.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'll take
it didn't work out for Mitch like he wanted. He wanted to have a presidential campaign. He wanted to, use it to go national. And it didn't work out for him.
So I will take up for him in this regard. I don't think anybody has inherited as much of a mess when they took over as mayor, and not even Helena Moreno. Because the mess that Ray Nagin left behind 4 years after Katrina, I mean, think of the number of city blocks that sat stagnant for 4 years. And then Mitch rolls in and he's a conquering hero for paving Carrollton. Like, okay, he paved a road, and all of a sudden, like that's a low bar. So
he looked good by comparison to Nagin, who went to prison,
right?
And Helena's going to be helped by the fact that she's following Latoya the Destroyer. So, right. I mean, she was terrible, and Helena's got all these metrics that she's following, and replacing street lights and getting potholes filled, and she's really and meeting with council members that Latoya Cantrell didn't bother doing. So yeah, I think that you make a good point. I mean, Nagin his second term was just disastrous. Disastrous.
Yeah, it just start to finish was just. I mean, from the moment the storm hit, he spiraled, and I mean that's a lot to ask one man to come back from, but to sit there and do nothing for 4. Like, I shouldn't say he did nothing, but like to just watch the city not rebuild. You had the Saints move back in. All the people were like, the populace of New Orleans had more NOLA Strong shirts, NOLA Pride shirts, Save the City shirts. Like everybody was on board with nobody to lead them where they were going.
Well, and he had people that were interested in their own situations, like Greg Meffert, the deputy mayor. I mean, and of course, Ray used the whole Chocolate City slogan to try to get himself reelected. Got himself reelected, and then was worried about his granite business. I mean, he was worried about cashing in, and it's just a shame what happened. And New Orleans has been plagued by terrible leadership over the years, but I do think Helena Moreno is going to be better than Mitch Landrieu, and I think she might be our best mayor in decades. I mean, if she continues on this track, I think it's a really good start for her. And I'm not in her ideological camp, but I mean, right. I think she seems to be trying to bring people together, trying to do her best. And again, she was just. And I don't think the governor appreciates that. I mean, she was left with a disaster.
No, she absolutely. I completely agree with you, Jeff. She was. This is going to be a tough build, but at the same time, though, when you inherit a disaster, you should also inherit a little bit of humility along the way, and don't roll in telling the governor you can't survive without us. Like she's coming off with the governor the same way Joe Pesci was in the desert with Robert De Niro. You only exist out here because of me. Like that, you can't have that kind of swagger when you've lost 300,000 people over the last 40 years.
No, I mean it's a relationship that both sides need each other.
Absolutely.
I mean, Louisiana certainly needs New Orleans, and New Orleans can't do it alone because we've seen they've had to go to the state time and time again to get bailed out, to get Troop NOLA, to get and the Attorney General's done a great job for New Orleans prosecuting a lot of these criminals, and. And just it's mind-boggling to see how she was treated. The whole thing with indicting her, one of the catastrophic mistakes of all time, because it really did put a relationship that was already shaky into really bad territory. And it's going to take a while for it to improve. And having Mitch Landrieu insert himself into it certainly doesn't help. I mean, notice that wasn't Helena Moreno doing all that. It was Mitch Landrieu.
Well, and that's the follow-up question, Jeff, is did Mitch step in to distract where the pitch was coming in? Like, did Mitch step in to say, let me take these hits for you so the governor can start coming after me instead of coming after you, and you can refocus on mending fences and whatnot?
Mm-hmm. Maybe. I think it was just also Mitch looking thought this was a golden opportunity for him to get some publicity and to get back into the limelight, because I think he's been probably missing it because he's been on the sidelines now for a while. So maybe a little bit of both, really. And Moreno's trying to focus now on the job and not the back and forth with the governor, and that's not productive because, again. As the president says when he's talking to Zelensky and whoever else, I mean, the governor's holding the cards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's got the cards. He's got the money. He's got the support that New Orleans needs. So, it behoove all of the representatives in New Orleans to really have a very good relationship with the governor, and I thought we were on that path in the beginning of the term. I really did.
No, it appeared that way. Things it just Liz Murrell sent a standard letter, and we've had her on twice to talk about it. A very standard letter that is sent out, all the time, and for some reason that led to, hey, let's indict her. And I'm a firm believer in, if you don't start nothing, ain't gonna be nothing. And the indictments started this ball rolling, and everybody's that interjected themselves since then has been starting something. It's been so degenerative. So how do you close up ranks? How do you start mending fences and make it nice again?
Well, I mean, now, of course, the governor, the attorney general says, there's going to be an investigation, and the governor's now talking about a special session, and it's just getting worse. I just think maybe over time things will chill. I think this could be a role for the Senate president. I mean, Cameron Henry's got a good relationship with both sides, and he's the guy who really engineered the first loan to the city, bond deal for the city,
mm-hmm.
and maybe he can step in and try to bring these sides together. I don't know. I do think the temperature needs to come down, and we need to get back to working together, because both parties need each other. It's just not good for anybody really to have this. This is the premier city in Louisiana. This is the home of Super Bowls and Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest. I mean, it's a world-class city.
No,
and
absolutely.
It's just not good to be, having all this publicity about, the state and the city, in my opinion.
How much is it dominating the headlines down there, or is it just business as usual and this is a sideshow?
I mean, it's been a pretty talked about story. I mean, you have your other issues that are, coming back up. I mean, there's been a lot of attention on what Moreno has done over the, beginning part of her tenure as mayor. And I think there's a honeymoon period with the local media here to try to, put her in a positive light as to what she's, done and trying to accomplish. So, I mean, there's been a lot of focus on her 6-month anniversary, this is the start to her term and everything she's accomplished. And, I think that this whole blow up with the attorney general has generated a lot of attention.
Yeah, it has. It's not progressive at all. It doesn't help anyone along the way. What are the other headlines going on right now, man? What's dominating your show?
Well, I mean, a lot of interest in the war, because that's been a concern, obviously, with the economy. Midterms are, getting to be an issue as we, 100 days away. And I think we're going to start, focusing on that. We got qualifying coming up in a few weeks. I'm going to have lots of races down here, judgeships, a lot of, Jefferson Parish races. There's going to obviously be, a huge year next year, and, rumblings about who's going to run for council, who's going to run in 27. Probably, a little bit of interest now. People are starting to think about November with the Senate race.
Yeah.
I think there's some questions about what's going to happen in these congressional districts. Who's going to run? I mean, and where's the president going to come down? And what's going to happen to Blake Miguez? What's going on?
The Miguez saga is one that we need to get to the bottom of, because, I mean, he was so prominent early on in the 5th, and now it doesn't look like an endorsement carries over from one race to the next. So, or from one, bid to the next. The endorsement in the 5th in the spring is not the same. He doesn't necessarily have Trump's endorsement in the fall in the 6th. So, and as I understand it, like, there won't be one. That's all background. That's all off the record. Like, that's not. None of that's confirmed. None of that's. It's all speculative. So it just.
But we know that is the key to victory: the Trump endorsement. I mean,
100%.
That is golden.
But after what happened in the 5th in the spring, before the maps changed, would Donald Trump has no motivation to endorse anybody until there's a Republican candidate. He has no motivation to. You endorse Miguez to move him out of the Senate race to clear the path for Julia Letlow. You're not looking to move anybody around this time. So why be mean to one? Why be selective of one Republican and be mean to the rest? So I don't it's. Ooh,
that would be my advice to him.
Oh yeah. Sit back, wait till see what Republican rises to the top, and then hop on board. You got a show to get to. We got to get to your money now. Jeff Crouere, host of Ringside Politics. Always appreciate the time, man.
All right, my friend. Thanks.
Oh. And good morning, Christy. Welcome in, Boo.
So good when you let into that. They might need to split a bottle of wine.
Thank you.
For nearly 50 years, Gulf Coast Office Products has been Louisiana's trusted leader in office technology, helping businesses in every industry streamline efficiency. As an official partner of the New Orleans Saints and Pelicans, we're committed to delivering top-tier service with flexible leasing options and customized invoicing. With over 100 dedicated employees, we have the expertise to keep your business running smoothly. Call for a free analysis at 225-756-2644. Gulf Coast Office Products, for workforce efficiency lifeline. Moon Griffon. The government running a grocery store runs everybody out of business. They don't know how to run a grocery store. Name something they've running that's good. Let's see, Social Security. The government are doing brokers and shit. They running that. Healthcare. Obamacare. It's running the healthcare system. They got in charge of the border. How did that work out for us? When Biden and Obama was in charge. They brought our economy and our budget. They $40 trillion in debt. What's good about that? The Moon Griffon Show. Weekday mornings from 9 to noon on Talk 107.3. I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast.
latest autopsy results are raising more questions about how Nolan Wells died. An independent exam commissioned by his family's legal team classified the cause and manner of death for the 18-year-old as undetermined pending investigation.
.655 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Before we get too far down the road, got to remind you about the folks over at Industry Makes. IndustryMakes.org is the website, IndustryMakes.org. Who is Industry Makes? Well, they are, look, from the shoes on your feet to the products essential to our health care in the medical world. Louisiana's industries are in the business of making it all. Our industries not only make the products the world needs, but they engineer the innovations the world demands for a safer and more sustainable future, all the while creating quality jobs, a predictable and stable tax base, better schools as a result of it, and a better quality of life for our state. If you want to learn more and how you can be an ambassador, visit industrymakes.org. Thanks again to Jeff Crouere for hopping on board. Let me give you the rundown for the rest of the day's guests. We're going to talk with Donnie Miller from the Ascension Parish Chamber coming up at 7:15. They've got their big annual. Flipping through too many pages at once, y'all. Their big annual business expo coming up next month. In fact, I'll be on board. I'll be at that one. We'll talk about that a little bit about what else is going on within Ascension Parish. That's Donnie Miller at 7:15. 7:35. Tony Zanders from Nexus, Louisiana, is going to join us. They're about to move downtown to 440 Main. That's actually right above Matherns. But there's also some new movement on the Technology Cup. We'll talk with Tony at 7:35. In the 8 o'clock hour, looking forward to this. Monte Danos from Rev is going to hop on board at 8:05. Rev has teamed up with LSU. What's that partnership going to look like? 8:15, David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association is in with us. Just want to check in with David about how much what's going on in Iran is affecting things back home, and just the general summer check-in as well. As you know, hurricane season is here. How does that affect the chemistry industry? Then it's SharkWeek. Kendyl Berna, and by the way, this interview is already in the can. This is the second time I've had her on, and she has yet to correct me on the pronunciation of her name. And we went through the entire interview yesterday with me calling her Kendyl Berna. And the last time she was on, I pronounced it Kendyl Berna. And I'm watching the show she was on last night about the biggest Mako sharks, and the announcer's pronouncing it Berna the whole time. And I'm like, why? Just correct me. I'll get it right. Anyway, we're talking SharkWeek at 8:35. Right now, though, we are coming up on school getting back in. And along with that is, how do you capitalize on momentum? State Education Superintendent Dr. Cade Brumley, who I believe is going to join us for a full hour on Tuesday, he's urging school districts to crack down on unruly student behavior this upcoming school year. Brumley is calling on districts to make a commitment to stand firm on inappropriate behavior. Cut 7, please.
I just feel like schools for too long have been too tolerant of inappropriate student behavior. Schools need to be orderly. They need to be peaceful. And we've put in policy, procedures to make that happen.
This still goes back to let teachers teach. When you say let teachers teach, that can mean so many different things. Are you spending your entire time writing lesson plans to make sure someone up the food chain can check them off? Are you spending your entire time doing trainings that have nothing to do with teaching? Letting teachers teach also has to do with, do you have the physical ability within a classroom setting to teach without being distracted? Let teachers teach is so all-encompassing. It's so simple, and yet so layered. Brumley says laws are in place to deal with students who habitually disrupt classroom learning. Cut 8.
Students can be removed from the classroom and not allowed back in until parent conversations have been had. Students who are suspended from school for 3 times move to an automatic expulsion.
By the way, in the last legislative session, lawmakers adopted a House resolution which urges school systems to comply with and enforce the state's anti-bullying laws. You don't want to see people going backwards on that front. So we'll have Dr. Brumley on Tuesday. Looking forward to that. School will be back in next week. Right now, we're coming up on the top of the hour. ABC News is headed your way.
the body, he cannot rule out foul play. That is significant.
The forensic pathologist wrote there were no fractures, cuts, or bruises on Nolan's body, but noted red discoloration was found on the back of his head and needs more investigation. The autopsy was performed 4 days after his body was found. The pathologist also writing there were missing parts of the neck.
Have you or he asked anyone for access to those things? Hopefully that the medical examiner will allow him to come and examine the throat, also to talk about observations that they had, and so they can share information.
It is not unusual for a state medical examiner to keep parts for further evaluation. Former medical examiner Dr. Priya Banerjee reviewed the autopsy report.
I think the best thing we can take away is that there's no identifiable trauma.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office is still investigating what happened after Nolan went to Horn Island in a boat with friends on July 4th. His body was found 2 days later washed ashore there. Today, the family's attorney noted the doctor was unable to examine the airways and lungs for water to determine drowning. In a recent interview, Warren Hudson says he'd been friends with Nolan since they were kids. Hudson said they frequently went boating and they went to Horn Island with a large group of friends on July 4th.
Everybody's drinking, it's 4th of July. Everyone's just trying to enjoy themselves.
Okay, Aaron Gilchrist joins us now. Aaron, the big question still remains here, and still no toxicology results.
Tom, the family's legal team is still waiting for the toxicology report from the state, and the medical examiner's office tells us today it will share appropriate information when the investigation is complete. Tom?
Okay, Aaron Gilchrist, those do develop.
Check on your drive from the Talk 107.3 traffic center.
Sweet. The numbers on that Sid Edwards interview yesterday are about to go up. Yeah. Yeah, that should be worth a few clicks. $7:05. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing. Starting off the second hour at 79 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. We broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. I'll tell you a little bit more about them in just a bit. We got a busy hour this hour, y'all. We'll talk to Donnie Miller from the Ascension Parish Chamber in our next segment. Tony Zanders from Nexus, Louisiana, after that. Right now, let's waste no time. Top stories and trending. It would help if I take my stories back out. Secretary of State Nancy Landry will unveil the commissioned design for the 2026 I Voted sticker today, 1 p.m. at the Louisiana Old Governor's Mansion. It's, of course, 502 North Boulevard in downtown Baton Rouge. The unveiling ceremony is open to the public if you'd like to go on out. Wait, we've already had 2 elections. Does that mean that we just had leftover stickers for our primaries? Huh. The Department of Children and Family Services may offer performance-based bonus pay to employees, according to a letter from Attorney General Liz Murrill. Secretary Rebecca Harris had asked the AG's opinion, according to the letter released Monday, to ensure that the program was consistent with the state constitution. The proposed incentive pay program must still be approved by the State Civil Service Commission for final approval. Louisiana posted the nation's highest construction employment growth rate over the past year, with employment rising 7.7% between June of last year and June of this year. This, according to new analysis of federal labor data by the Associated General Contractors of America. Louisiana's construction workforce reached over 147,000 people in June of this year, up from 136,500 last year, so an increase of 10,500 jobs. Parts of Front Bruley will be without power tonight, the town said. According the town said, quote, the whole town. Sorry. Ron Burgundy the hell out of that. According to officials, the outage is planned for 8 p.m. It's expected to last about 2 hours. The outage is being done to allow Entergy to perform some maintenance in the area. As the weather gets hotter, things are going to be tougher out at the landfill. Scroll. The difficult, tedious search of the Baton Rouge landfill for the body of 15-year-old Jadarius Manyweather has now entered its 3rd week. 45-minute shifts is what we're looking at, fully geared from head to toe. Search team consisting of members from BRPD, FBI, EMS, and several other agencies performing extremely slow and excruciating work as they're raking through yards and yards of waste material. District Attorney Hiller Moore had said at the Baton Rouge Press Club yesterday that as the weather gets hotter, the work just gets that much more grueling. Rake by rake, and the rakes are big. Given the surface area of the rake, he kind of gestured with his hands. There are 30 members on a team in line and 30 members at a time to do one dump of a dump truck at a time. Moore says after each shift, members are required to rest for an hour and 45 minutes, have their blood pressure and temperature checked before returning to work. We've had both the mayor on to talk about this and the chief of police on to talk about this. It has just been absolutely grueling and horrific, and the best possible news is still going to be bad news. Hey, we're going to go one more time before you get in there. I want to remind folks about the biggest trending story this morning was breaking throughout the morning. So there was a magnitude 6.8 earthquake striking southern Japan today. This is, as I understand it, they are under tsunami warning right now. As a magnitude 6.8 earthquake striking south of Kumamoto on Japan's Kyushu Island. As I understand it, and I'm going off of America in the Morning, all the nuclear facilities are in line. It's very easy to remember back to, was it 2012, 2013, when Fukushima?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So that's going to be your first check, and it looks like everything's good.
Well, President Trump, should I say the town said, President Trump put off a major escalation with Iran for now with an effort to revive diplomacy to open the Strait of Hormuz.
Zero. My confidence level is 0. That's whatever.
I know.
We're 6 months into a 4-week war.
We should have been out by now.
Yeah.
Yeah. The latest on the Nolan Wells case is witnesses say he had been drinking pretty heavily with his friends on Horn Island the day he went missing.
And the comments section says, okay, here's a way to discredit the black man. Nope, not the case. It's 4th of July. It's the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
I know.
Everybody's drinking. What was that? Oh, man. Horn Island or any other island out there, it doesn't matter. You're on a boat. If you're on a boat, you're drinking. If you're on a boat and you're not drinking, that's on you. It's not trying to impugn Nolan Wells. It's just setting the stage for what happened that day. One of his friends was on, I can't remember what podcast it was, but he said, we were all drinking. So they're not trying to discredit one person along the way. The problem here is that autopsy results, the earlier autopsy is inconclusive, and they're hanging on to it until the further results, until the grand jury makes their decision. Same thing with the toxicology numbers. The toxicology report's not back in yet either. So we all just have to sit and be patient. And that doesn't exist in a social media world where everyone can hate each other for the cost of admission. And when Ben Crump and Al Sharpton roll into town, that's going to be the first move. Make sure everyone hates each other, then we can get paid.
Portobello's Grill in Baton Rouge closed its doors permanently on Sunday, according to a social media post. I know. I hate it. Really
now
loved
that
them.
Portobello's closed, and the other Portobello's over there by Bocage is just, that's their base for catering now, as I understand it.
Yes.
So, man, I like me.
I'm heartbroken.
Yeah, I do. I like some Portobello's.
Their chicken parm was good, but the veal parmesan, that was even more delicious.
Yeah,
I love Portobello's.
Yep, same. It's sad it's going away now, but Peter's gonna be up to something.
Oh yeah.
So
hopefully it's Italian.
Well, yeah. I mean, Solu is rocking it though.
Yeah.
And if you're out in Denham Springs, Peebo's is another one of his that is phenomenal. Like he doesn't swing and miss a whole lot. So hopefully whatever's next is going to be amazing as well as or at least it should be. But Portobello's in its current iteration is now gone. We're at 712 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Told you I'd remind you about 180 Pros in just a quick second. Hey, 180 Pros is your IT partner, not just your IT provider. I love explaining some of the differences on this front, because one of those differences is same day response time, right? But how about collaboration? Think about this for just a quick second, okay? Your IT right now involves so much more than your website. It involves so much more than having a front face for your customers online, because we live in a world where there's so much video, so much social media, so much content for a business to create on their own. Who's handling that for you? Who are you collaborating with to make sure that your needs are met on a social media front? Look, I'm gonna create my own content. I just need the hardware and the software to do it. That's where 180 Pro sets themselves. That's one of the areas where 180 Pro sets themselves apart. You want the right cameras, you want the right tech, you want the right platform, you want all of it. They will work with you from start to finish to make sure your small business is maximizing itself in the space. Call 330-2200 or visit 180pros.com. I forgot to zero out the line. It's Donnie.
Talk 107.3. Hey, yes, sir. We'll come to you in 2 minutes. Okay. He sounds good.
Okay. Talk 107.3 and Citizens Bank and Trust want to make things a little easier on your budget by making your groceries for an entire year. And even if you don't win the grand prize, we're awarding second chance prizes of $250 gift cards to High Neighbor Supermarkets. It's the free groceries for your sweepstakes, powered by Citizens Bank and Trust, High Neighbor, and Talk 107.3. Register now at talk1073.com. About to take you to Ascension Parish. Check in with Donnie Miller from the Ascension Parish Chamber in just a quick second. But I do need to remind you about Neurojust. Neurojust.com is the website. If you're battling with anxiety or depression, Neurojust is here for you. If you have been thus far treatment resistant, meaning you don't like the way the meds feel, or you're seeing diminishing returns with those prescriptions, visit Neurojust.com. They specialize in TMS therapy. It is FDA approved. It is non-invasive. And if you've gone the antidepressant route already, the guys at the team at Neurojust is going to go to battle for you with your insurance company to make sure they're picking up the tab. Look, if what you're doing is working, stick with it by all means. Your mental health is the most important thing to the folks at Neurojust. So if what you're doing is working, roll with it. But if you found that you think you can have a better path towards mental health, towards calming those seas that rattle around in your brain, if you want a better path towards getting rid of that constant fight or flight mentality, visit neurojust.com, Neurojust. All right, time to head out to Ascension Parish. Donnie Miller's on with us. How are you, man?
Hey, Brian. Good to be with you this morning.
Glad to be with you as well. So we are less than a month away from the Ascension Chamber Business Expo.
It's crunch time. We're excited because everything's really starting to come into focus. We're basically sold out in a good way when it comes to number of companies participating. Few extra sponsorships available, but yes, this is the big one for the year. So we're excited. So thanks for having us on to talk about it.
No, absolutely. In fact, I believe I'm taking the show out there. I'm taking more than one show out there, if I'm not mistaken.
That's how big it is.
Yeah.
We need more muscle. So we're excited to have you out there.
So walk us through a little bit of what folks can expect, those that are already in. You say you're basically sold out. Does that mean there's zero room for change? Is there a wait list if somebody has to bounce? What are we looking at?
Yeah, there is a wait list. So we pride ourselves on rarely doing the same magic trick out in Ascension year after year. Although we found a lot of success with this event, but we're taking it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's 120 exhibitors that have already signed on. And I've bribed my staff to try to expand the room to make sure that we can have as many folks participate as possible. But look, there's a lot happening in Ascension, period. But look, if you want to experience the momentum in our business community in one place, that's what the Ascension Chamber Business Expo is about, and that's why people need to be there. It's the largest gathering of businesses, organizations, community leaders, period, in Ascension Parish. So we're excited to bring it to the masses.
What do you mean there's a lot going on in Ascension? I hadn't heard anything.
I mean, outside of the development and the billions of dollars,
right?
We've got a few things moving. We're priding ourselves on that right now. We're excited to see all the growth.
Well, and y'all's role as a chamber is not when like LED makes the big announcements. It's all the trickle down from there. All the small businesses, the mom and pops that feed upstream. That's where y'all really kick in, and that's where y'all shine.
It's where we thrive. Look, LED, the partnership, Ascension Economic Development Corporation, and all that they do in economic development. Those are the pros that are doing the recruitment. But once companies have made their mark here in the community, we want to make sure that they stay active. We want to make sure that they're participating in every aspect that they want to be. And so, yes, I feel like we're the gateway between the business community and into government and just community in general. That's our partnership with everything.
We got Donnie Miller on from the Ascension Parish Chamber. The Chamber Business Expo is coming up August 27th. Where is it?
It's at the Lamar Dixon Rev Center. So if you're looking at where you're driving in Center Mass, you're taking a left and passing up where they have a lot of soccer fields, where they have a lot of their just general shows, whether it's Comic-Cons or card shows or outdoor shows. But it's a big facility, and we want to make sure that we have something large enough that can house everybody. So yeah, at the end of the day, you hear Business Expo, and I'm sure you're imagining rows of booths, but that's part of it. You know, we've intentionally built this experience around networking. We have an educational component to it this year, and we're celebrating the businesses that make Ascension one of the fastest growing communities. So we're trying to create the gravitational pull for all of the business community within the region to come over to Lamar-Dixon on August 27th.
So mixed in here is the keynote from Tim Barfield. Tell me a little bit about why Tim and where he's heading with this.
I'm really excited. You know, last year we teased it with you right before the expo, and we weren't able to talk about who it is. This year, we really want to get out early and make sure that we're celebrating not only the expo, but the fact that Tim's willing to come and take some time and speak with us. You know, the best keynote speakers, they don't just motivate you, they really change the way you think. And I, had a chance to get to know Tim, and, he spent his career helping businesses grow. He spent his career helping communities compete, and leaders, they help make better decisions. So whether you're running a company with 500 employees or just getting started, I wanted someone that could relate to the audience. And I feel like Tim's background with government, with private industry, with economic development, he's kind of the perfect, thread for the needle this year. I really do feel that way.
And the way it's listed on the sheet, when you talk about understanding business from every angle, that governmental role, especially in today's world, that governmental role, having that peek behind the curtain is going to be, I'm predicting it's probably going to be one of the stronger points of his whole presentation. He's with CSRS now, but has been with state government in the past. Schedule wise, we're looking at 8:30 a.m. doors opening. Where does it go from there?
Yeah, we flipped the schedule a little bit. Last year, everything was built around a lunch. This year, we found that people were energetic and ready to go in the morning. So we've switched the lunch to a breakfast buffet and networking opportunity. So yeah, 8:30, doors are going to open. 9 a.m., we're kicking off breakfast. By 9:30, our presentation has begun. And there's a cross section between keynote and business communication, but also we partner with the Ascension K through 12 program with the school system, and they present their partners in education awards during this presentation as well. And so again, as we're trying to cross the streams, as we're trying to connect business and education and community, I feel like having those recognitions of the educational partners and having that in front of our business community is paramount. We always talked about it, the Alliance, the Vendors Alliance for Students does a fantastic job of doing that, crossing the streams between education, between community and government. And so we're taking a note out of their playbook and making sure that we're highlighting our educators and having that great relationship with the education community and the business community.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say 11 to 2 is really when the expo is happening. That's when your prime networking and booth hopping is happening. And you're going to see companies like our presenting sponsor from Chevron. You're going to see mega companies like Methanex and Shell. And so some of our super majors all the way down to some solo entrepreneurs, whether you're a doula, whether you're a financial advisor, or you're playing in the mid game as a service to one of these types of businesses, that's who's going to be in the room. And then at 2 p.m. we have the Taste of Ascension happy hour. It wouldn't be a typical Louisiana event without some sort of happy hour as a part of it. But then we'll be wrapping up by 3:30 to make sure that people can get back for school pickup and, of course, getting back to their family life.
I'm sorry. Did you say a doula?
That's right. That's right.
We're talking making, stealing, birthing babies.
We're start to finish. We have funeral homes in the room and doulas that are getting things started. So it's a one-stop shop.
It's literally a one-stop shop. That is so awesome. Oh, goodness gracious. Donnie Miller with the Ascension Parish Chambers with us. Hey, give one more shout out to the sponsor there, because that is a jam-packed event.
Yeah, Chevron is our presenting sponsor this year. So when we talk about all the chemical industry and all the things that we've been talking about on air for the past few years, really it's interesting to look into Chevron and Ascension Parish because of their renewables and their focus on renewable products it's a little left of center than from what we have in the market. So we're excited to have them as we have the energy conversation, as we present our business community. So Chevron is the perfect partner.
Hey, while we got you, Donnie Miller from the Ascension Parish Chamber is the president and CEO of the Ascension Parish Chamber of Commerce. While we got you, you got a Move 5K and Fun Run coming up as well a couple weeks after the Business Expo. It's not until September, but tell me about it.
Yeah, you know what? We're bringing it back this year. It's something that had kind of fallen off, and the internal staff, brought it back and said, "Look, this was such an amazing event. What would it take to kickstart it?" And I said, "Of course, it's going to take a quarterback. If you guys are interested in standing it up, it's going to take the team." But the really cool thing that we're doing this year is we're pointing all of the dollars towards leadership. So we have there's leadership classes at the state, of course, in Baton Rouge, but Ascension has a leadership class that's been around for more than 30 years. And after they graduate the leadership program, there's a leadership alumni program, and there's a foundation. So there's a way to stay with this program throughout your entire career. And we found that we just haven't been pointing a lot of revenue, a lot of dollars at these programs. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we need to add some fuel to the fire, especially as we go back to the workforce component, as we look at future generations and what our community is going to look like. We want to make sure that we're educating the next leaders with everything we possibly can. And I think, a piece of it that gets missed sometimes are the dollars and cents. So we're gonna point this run at them and make sure that we can really lift them up and start offering scholarships, making sure that our alumni, that the programs that they have out in the community have dollars and cents to lift them up. And then of course our foundation to make sure that the dollars can flow from left to right and make it seamless for everybody.
Very cool stuff. So where do folks need to go? Is there a website already open for that, or we're still waiting for that to open?
No. So we've got everything open for the rest of the year. So we have an events tab at the ascensionchamber.com. It's called the Ascension on the Move 5K and Fun Run. So if 5Ks are not your thing, but you definitely want to come out and participate and walk it or just hang out, please come on out. That's Saturday, September 12th, kicking off at 8 a.m.
And of course, don't forget the big Business Expo is going to be out at Lamar Dixon on August 27th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Going to be a great time. We'll have the show out there, the morning show, and we're doing a midday show as well. Just kicking through lunchtime as everybody's making their way through the Business Expo showcase. So we'll be bringing it to you basically all morning long into the afternoon. In the meanwhile, Donnie Miller with the Ascension Parish Chamber. Appreciate it so much.
Brian, Breland, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, going to be a big day out that way. Like you said, everything will be done and over with by at the latest 3:30. So hit up the Taste of Ascension happy hour before hitting carpool. Although, you probably don't want to, hit carpool after having a few. Just saying. Be responsible at the happy hour, right?
Just one.
Yeah.
Just
one,
yeah.
Right. Because 2, you start cursing out crossing guards and whatnot.
Oh, God.
Coming up on 7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Let me remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. About half an hour ago, it was wheels up towards our nation's capital. Baton Rouge Metro Airport has a daily direct flight to Reagan National in Washington, D.C. Get your business done same day. Don't even need to book a hotel room in our nation's capital. You fly out in the morning, come back home same night, sleep in your own bed. Oh, by the way, when you fly there and fly back, when you're home, you're home. It's not when you're home, you still have to drive an hour and a half, and then you're home. It's when you're home, you're home. If you want to learn more, visit flybtr.com. The difference is all the difference when it comes to the parking, when it comes to the TSA experience, the full experience with the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. It's an enjoyable flying experience from start to finish, whether you're stopping off for a coffee at PJ's on your way in, or like I said, when you get home, having a 10-minute drive home, a 15-minute drive home is so much better than an hour drive home after flying home. What you say, Tony? Doing all right?
Yeah, just saw she got her Bayou Barbie.
737 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. One more time, I want to remind you about One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is their website. O-N-E. Spell it out. OneBathAndClosets.com. I had a friend of mine try to DIY the bathroom, and boy, was that a mistake. I was over at the house about 2 weeks ago or so, and just like, your bathroom's amazing. And I'm like, yeah, because we called David Duvall. We got 30 years worth of experience and expertise. We called David Duvall and made sure that the collaboration was on point and the execution was on point as well. Very, very easy. You would think, I don't want somebody renovating something while I'm living in the house. No, it was unbelievably simple, user-friendly to be sure. One Bath and Closets, OneBathAndClosets.com. All right, time to visit with Tony Zanders from Nexus, Louisiana. How you been, man?
I've been ripping and running. I'm ready to be home, enjoy my mortgage for a bit.
Ripping and running where? Were you out and about?
Yeah, just work. We just came back with the Nexus team from Philadelphia, meeting with
LeBron.
I'd like to say we had a hand in making that happen. But no, it's funny. We were there right after All-Star weekend for baseball. But,
yeah.
There's a national conference for all the organizations like Nexus around the country.
Okay.
And we all came together 2 weeks ago. So that was pretty cool.
What are you able to grab from things like that? Because when you're Nexus, you want to be on the cutting edge of everything. So yeah, I would assure there's a lot of collaboration on that front.
For sure. I mean, it's good to compare notes. Like, what's your counterpart in, in this case, Philadelphia or California doing to help coach entrepreneurs? And we got to, in fact, receive an award for the work we did with Tech Tailgates.
Okay.
They never heard of the concept to kind of mix business and pleasure. Everybody knows LSU football, but we were mentioning to them how we were able to engage investors and founders every Saturday before the home game. And they gave us an award for most innovative community engagement.
I wouldn't know how to do business without mixing pleasure. It's just what we do. It's who we are, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Mm-hmm. This is why we say every year nobody else could pull off Washington Mardi Gras. We're the only ones. So
nope.
Unbelievable that concept is so foreign outside of the state and so just natural to us. It's about relationships, and it's all relationships.
That's it.
We got Tony Zanders in with us from Nexus, Louisiana. I want to talk about the technology company a little bit, but first we got to tend to some business here. Y'all about to move, become downtown's newest resident?
Can't wait. First time in the organization's 32-year history. We're relocating from Florida Boulevard in Lobdell, in what used to be the Louisiana Technology Park. To my understanding, that's now becoming yet another data center. And so there's already 2 data centers there that house a lot of really critical information for the state, for private businesses. And that was the case even before AI and before that. So now they're expanding. We are headed downtown. We're going to be in the Mathern's building.
Yeah, you are.
3rd Street in Maine. And I'm so excited.
Okay, so yes, because it's full service grocery store, to be sure, but it used to be a bank. Okay. And the bank vault is now the wine. So you got a wine vault.
No way.
Oh yeah, it's a big circular door to get into.
I've been in there countless times.
Yeah,
I didn't
that
realize
used to be a bank vault.
That's okay. Now you're adding fuel to my my tour game right here.
Gotta love it. Gotta love
wine vault.
Underrated lunch, by the way. Underrated salad bar. I know I'm not trying to blow you away with a salad, but if you're keeping it on the healthy end,
some days you need that.
Yeah.
No, that it's going to be fun, and the reason that building won out in the RFP was in no small part because of the grocery store. We're really interested in creating like a live, work, play concept for our startups. Some of them are going to be staying in the building as residents.
Right.
You can wake up, go downstairs, get your coffee, breakfast, come upstairs, go to work. We think that if we can cut commute time out of the equation, you can really make progress on what you're building.
Well, and that's the beauty part of 440 on Main is it is completely mixed use with there is residential, there is business, there is grocery. Is there still a fitness center there? Did that end up taking off?
No, so
y'all are in that space.
Yeah, so we're now the largest tenant, commercial tenant, in the building, taking over floors 2 and then the top floors 8 and 9.
Okay.
Floors 3 through 7 are residential, like you mentioned.
Mhm.
Right across the street, though, you do have the Y.
Yeah, you do.
And so that's a pretty sweet Y.
Oh, it goes on for days.
Yeah.
Like inside, and then you go upstairs and there's even more. It's crazy.
You have everything you need. And so can't wait to connect with the folks over at the Y to bring some perks to our founders.
Yeah, absolutely. It's mutually beneficial for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So get the live workspace going on over 440. Talk to me a little bit about the work. For those that are unfamiliar with what y'all do behind the scenes, talk a little bit about the work y'all plan on doing once you're in your new home.
Yeah, so Nexus is a taxpayer-funded group, that nonprofit, like I said, been around 30 years to find the smartest people in the state and have them work on the hardest problems in the state using technology. That new campus is going to allow us to do a few things differently. Number one, we're equidistant between LSU and Southern. In fact, Southern's engineering school has a startup of its own called VR Jags. They're going to be relocating to downtown on that campus with us.
Really?
And they build a lot of cool technology for the government, for private companies. Can't wait to get them downtown with us. Aside from that cross-pollination of engineering students, we're going to house about 12 to 15 professional tech startups that they're going to call that home, ranging across a number of industries from healthcare to agriculture to a lot of AI as well.
Don't skim past it now, because once you start getting into the details, this is where the cool stuff really comes out with what the startups are looking at doing.
For sure. The way for the community to engage with what they're doing, though, will happen on the second floor.
Okay.
And so the second floor will be a mixture of a modern hotel lobby where you can come in and you'll have TVs on the walls and check your email, get a cup of coffee or get a cocktail if it's after hours. And it'll also have a 200-person theater where you're going to be able to come for events, see live demonstrations of new tech products. And so all that'll happen right on the second floor. Some of the types of things they're doing, though, and most recently we had a competition where we brought in the top engineers from across the colleges in Louisiana, and they presented some demos to our State Department of Education on, in this case, how to make sense of all the data that's out there so people can make better choices on where to send their kids to school.
Oh, wow.
And they did this in about 8 weeks. And you had high-ranking folks from the Department of Ed saying, how were you able to do this with the data we have in just that short amount of time? And we do the same thing for healthcare. Our healthcare competition is coming up in September. We'll be partnering with Ochsner to use technology to improve the cancer journey, not only for the patient,
right,
but a part that I'm really excited about also is the patient's caregivers. And so a lot of times as a caregiver, you get left out of the equation and you're having to find a lot of things on your own and make sense of that experience.
Right.
We think we can improve that with technology, and that competition will culminate this coming September. So looking at what are Louisiana's hardest problems, how can we use technology to solve them?
Yeah.
That's kind of our lane.
There was one that y'all were working on involving the coast, and I apologize, I'm not remembering the details behind it.
Absolutely. This was in partnership with Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, along with the Water Institute, to try to figure out how can we better predict coastal erosion patterns.
Right.
Because we're losing over a football field's worth of land every hour. I saw, my mom's from Buras. We used to go down to Plaquemine Parish to the country, and that part we used to go to visit family literally doesn't exist.
Wow.
And I'm not that old.
Right.
And so it's a real problem if you're from here. And so we partnered with them to look at all of these high-res images they've been taking over the years. They have over 40,000 images of the coastline. And they used to take these with drones and helicopters. Now they take them with drones. AI allows us to analyze those images for patterns that we may not have seen before. And so we hear a lot of flack about AI, and it should be critically viewed, right? But some of the good things we're able to do is use it to do things that a human simply can't.
Right.
And so trying to figure out patterns for bird migration, certain types of flowers and plants that used to exist that don't, as predictive measures of where the coastline is deteriorating.
Well, so we have, between the Army Corps and CPRA, we have some pretty amazing people that are like very responsive and very good at their jobs. If they have the input on the front end to know where to attack, our attack could be unbelievably useful. And by the way, with the master plan that's being built out, we should have resources enough to follow the science that y'all are building out.
That's right. And so there's that part that will impact coastal erosion.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the talent that we're working with don't commercialize that technology and do it full time, it's workforce development.
Yes.
Because now these top, in this case, students and founders, they're like, oh, wow, I can make an impact on Louisiana. I didn't realize the state wanted me here. So before I go to Atlanta or Austin,
right,
it's like, no. Home needs me. And in fact, there's some pretty cool stuff to get done.
Let's go. Speaking of, and we're going to pivot over because we got 2 minutes left. Some changes coming to the Technology Cup.
As they should. I just heard Donnie on before me talking about changes coming down at the Ascension Parish Business Expo. Same for us. This is our second year, and we're putting more cash out. So this time it'll be $150,000 going out to founders and people building the best technology. We'll also add on a high school track this year. And we tried to do it last year. We got our timing mixed up because it's hard to engage students and teachers during the summer. They're off. And so this year it'll take place in December at our new campus downtown. And it's important that we're on the show today because school starts on August 6th. So next week. So if you know a really bright high school student who's building some cool technology, definitely send them to nexusla.org.
No, absolutely. And I know who to put you in touch with for some of this as well. I sit on the steering committee for the Young Entrepreneurs Academy.
Awesome.
There's going to be a lot of crossing of the streams there.
Yeah, we want to plug in with them. And that's day one. Day two will be the college track, which has been our bread and butter. We're excited to see LSU go head to head with UL and Tulane and McNeese State and others, just like we do in football, but this time when it comes to tech.
Yeah.
And then our final day will be our professional startups.
The open track. Yeah,
absolutely.
And where can folks go to learn more?
NexusLA.org is our website. Looking forward to meeting y'all.
NexusLA.org. He's Tony Zanders. Always appreciate the time, man.
Absolutely. You too.
We are coming up on 750 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. That means it's time for us to check your money now. We are stacked up with guests in the 8 o'clock hour, which means after we check your money now and we check traffic, we're moving this day in history up by a segment. So that's coming your way next. We're going to talk with the folks from Let's Rev to start off the next hour. finally found the pictures I was looking for to show him. $7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along, getting you to this day in history in just a quick second. But do want to remind you that for 115 years, ExxonMobil has been a part of Louisiana, been our neighbors, been in our backyard, been creating jobs, been investing in communities, been operating with a strong commitment to safety. Going to have them on tomorrow. Oh, by the way, now today that same spirit of innovation is shaping the future through carbon capture and storage. Yes, it's just a part of where the global economy is headed, and ExxonMobil wants to be at the forefront when it comes to doing it the right way. Projects that can support local industry and open up new opportunities across the state. If you want to learn about them, if you want to learn more about what ExxonMobil is up to on this front, they've built out a website for you, aboutlaccs.com, aboutlaccs.com. All right, we got a busy 8 o'clock hour, so we're moving this day in history up to right now.
Believe it or not, I just have 3 today, and mine gets started in 1914. Excuse me. Do you have any before that, Brian?
I have 1868.
Oh, what happened then?
1868, the 14th Amendment was signed, giving Black Americans equal civil rights.
Oh,
yeah.
1914, the outbreak of World War I. So it was exactly 1 month after the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Austria declared war on Serbia, sparking the start of World War I on this day in history. 1958, NASA was created by U.S. Congress.
Cool.
Yeah, U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed it into law, establishing NASA, what we know as today.
All right.
1994, the Major League Baseball Players Association, MLB, authorized a strike set for August 12th. So they came together on this day saying it's going to happen. And for the remainder of the 1994 MLB season, no baseball.
Yeah, that was a rough year. It really set baseball back a good bit. Took the steroid era to bring it back, but, you know.
That had to be hard because if you're a huge baseball fan and that's what you're committed to, watching it on
Oh,
TV
yeah.
or going to games, you're like, what do
Yeah.
I do now?
Yep. I mean, unless you're a Mets fan, and then you knew like the season was a waste anyway.
Oh,
So.
Lord. Okay. Are we ready for birthdays?
This day in 1978, Animal House was released. This day in 1984, Ronald Reagan opened the Olympics in Los Angeles.
All right. Let's see. Birthdays. Hold on. I got to scroll all the way up. I do know it is Lori Laughlin's birthday today.
Born on this day in 1964 was Lori Laughlin.
Yep. Jacqueline Kennedy.
1929.
Let's see. That's all I have. Oh, Soulja Boy.
Soulja Boy, 1990.
And that's all I got.
Well, former Senator and NBA star Bill Bradley, born on this day in 1943. And UFC's Dana White, born on this day in 1969.
Awesome. Let's see. Notable deaths. See, I really don't have anything that's notable enough to share. Do you have any?
Yeah, I got a couple. How about Johann Sebastian Bach?
Okay.
Died on this day in 1750. And speaking of baseball, and this has been baseball in 94 as well, died on this day 1 year ago was Ryan Sandberg.
All right. National Day today. There's plenty, but we're going to go with this one. National Milk Chocolate Day.
Milk Chocolate Day.
Yum. Are you more of a dark chocolate?
No, I'm a milk chocolate guy for sure.
Same.
So much so that I don't even like the semi-sweet chocolate chips. I like a milk chocolate chip because it gets all melty and sweeter. And
I love a good milk chocolate.
all right, that'll work for sure. That was this day in history. I tell you what, before we hit news at the top of the hour, do want to remind you one more time about the folks over at One Bath and Closets. Cannot rave about David Duvall and his team enough over at One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. 400-8005 is the phone number. I always tell you about the bathroom because that's the route that we went. We upgraded the bathroom and have been thrilled beyond compare with the results. But take a look around your closets. Could it be more efficient? Could you use more shelving? Maybe a couple of drawers in there. Are you getting the most out of your space? If not, visit OneBathAndClosets.com. Spell it out, O-N-E, bathandclosets.com. All right. This next guest is on the phone. And I got to walk around a little bit.
Hey, good morning, Monty. It's Breland, Talk 107.3. We are in, hey, yeah, oh yeah, doing good. We're in break right now. It's going to be 3 to 4 minutes, and I'm going to drop you on hold. Brian's going to pick up on his end, okay? Okay, no problem.
806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Breland producing. We're starting off your 8 o'clock hour at 81 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we broadcast live from the 180 Pros studio. We got a stacked up hour, y'all. Coming up in our next segment, David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association. I believe he is less than 10 minutes away from the studio right now. And then we're going to talk Shark Week with Kendyl Berna. She had a show last night. If you're watching that show with the biggest Mako, well, let me get the name of the dadgum show right, since I can't get her name right. Yeah, biggest Mako on Earth. Looking for Mako sharks usually run about 9 feet, 11 feet, somewhere up in there. How about looking for one that's 15 to 20 feet long? That was the premise of last night's show. Got Kendyl on yesterday to record the interview. There will be plenty of encore presentations, but wanted to talk Shark Week a little bit as well because I'm a big nerd. Right now, though, before we get you to anything else, Rev Fiber making a huge announcement. I guess it was just a couple weeks ago, as they're partnering with LSU. Louisiana's largest locally owned fiber-first internet provider is launching a multi-year all-sports partnership with LSU Athletics. It's going to start with the 26 to 27 football season. Joining us now from Rev Fiber is Monte Danos. Monte, how are you?
Good morning, Brian. Happy to be on.
Glad to have you on here. Before we get to the deal with LSU, I have to talk about what I can only describe as the meteoric rise of Rev Fiber. I mean, it wasn't that long ago,
exciting.
Y'all were, and I'm not trying to call ETEL piddly, but it was that long ago. It was just y'all were just a little old ETEL right there, and now you're just blown up into Rev and Rev Fiber, and now, I mean, the future is just has no ceiling.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. I mean, if you stop and think about it, not many folks know this, but obviously, to your point, ETEL is a part of our history. So we've been around for over 90 years, but we are effectively the grouping of ETEL as well as Reserve Telco and Vision down in Bayou Lafourche. So we are three local companies that came together to effectively form Rev Fiber now moving forward. And to your point, we are investing in our community. We are building fiber actively across our footprint and diving deeper into Denham Springs and into South Baton Rouge, and soon we'll be venturing into Zachary and Baker and other parts of our communities. And so it's a really exciting time to be with Rev.
No, absolutely it is. And as Rev Fiber grows, we're going to see. Can only imagine we'll be hearing the name more often, because when you're doing something right, success begets success.
No doubt. And this partnership with LSU is really what it's all about. By partnering with a brand like LSU, it's a unique opportunity for us to really share our story with a much broader audience, while reinforcing that our investment, goes far beyond internet service, television, phone, and security services. We're investing locally right here at home where we want to do business, and we know we're part of the community. We're not some national company trying to benefit from the state. We're a Louisiana company investing in the state.
Oh, no, 100%. We're talking with Monte Danos from Rev Fiber about the new partnership with LSU Athletics. Now, while you are a Louisiana company investing in Louisiana, for sure, it takes a lot more to make an investment with LSU Athletics than, like, let's say, Chico's bail bonds sponsoring the Bad News Bears. This is a huge game you're entering here. Talk to me a little bit about what brought this to the forefront. What made Rev Fiber want to pull the trigger on this?
Well, first and foremost, we're committed to Louisiana and in it for the long haul. So, we are in growth mode, and we want to make sure folks know that we're here for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
And this partnership really reflects who we are. We're a company that's focused on innovation, exceptional customer service, and investing in the communities that we call home. And so we want customers and LSU Tiger fans to know that when they choose Rev, they're choosing a local company that's helping to build Louisiana's future. And so by partnering, with Louisiana-based athletes, we've got some NIL engagements. We're investing in local talent and giving these young leaders opportunities to grow their personal brands, and helping tell the Rev story along the way. What better representatives than some of these really fine, awesome NIL student athletes?
Which, by the way, you didn't want to pawn this off on an athlete to have an NIL obligation to fulfill this interview there? It's...
Well, we chose 5, and I'd love to talk about the 5 guys.
Go for please. That's where I wanted to go next
this year.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So we got pretty clever, and part of our campaign was to choose athletes whose personalities and skill sets really were attributable and could be personified with a Rev Fiber internet service attribute. And so who better to start off with than Trey'Dez Green, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Trey'Dez is just a freak of an athlete, all the makings of an absolute star, and played his high school ball right here in Zachary. And so he's got a great personality, lots of style, but yet just super gracious and humble guy. And so we're very excited about Trey'Dez. And then the second guy is safety Deshaun Spears. He's obviously a safety, and he will be trying out the star position this year, which means he's going to be playing in the backfield or stuffing the run, blitzing the quarterback. And he's from Denham Springs, which is an area that we're actively growing our footprint into.
Nice.
And he also describes himself as a gamer. So he appreciates the importance of a reliable internet provider. So Deshaun is actually personifying for us lockdown reliability, whereas Trey'Dez Green is blazing speed. So those are pretty self-explanatory.
Love them both. Keep going.
And then offensive lineman, Bo Bordelon. He personifies rock solid connection. So Bo's a big dude. Bo's like 6'6", 305.
Yeah.
He's a native of Raceland, down on the bayou. So again, reaching back to the roots of one of our founding companies. He's a true Tiger. Obviously, he's got purple and gold running through his veins. His dad was a former offensive lineman. His younger brother, Brett, is on the team. And Bo's the type of guy that doesn't like flashy stats. He's a team first kind of guy, 5th-year senior. So we absolutely love that about him. He's humble, which we believe is a good attribute for Rev. And then we've got defensive lineman Richard Anderson, who's from New Orleans. Now, Big Rich is 339, and he stands about 6'3".
Yeah.
So for Richard, he is what we like to call heavy-duty bandwidth. Now, many people may not know this about Rich. He grew up in Baton Rouge before moving to New Orleans.
I didn't know that.
And in his senior year at Edna Carr, he was a disruptor. He had 53 tackles, 22 for a loss, 10 sacks, even had an interception return for a touchdown. So we like to think that he's a disruptor to the status quo, just like Rev.
Okay. All right. One more.
And then our final guy is offensive lineman Bryson Martinez, and he demonstrates fortified network. Now, Bryson is from Gonzales, and he played his high school ball at East Ascension, which is literally just down the road from our headquarters. And he was a regular on the Rev High School Game of the Week, which is something we've been doing for years as well. He's appeared 27 times on our broadcast. So we feel like we've watched him grow up. And so he was just a natural for us to also include in our NIL group.
We're talking with
those are our 5 guys.
Gotta love it. We're talking with Monte Danos from Rev Fiber. We're talking about the 5 guys that Rev Fiber inked on NIL deals with. But there's so much more to the partnership than this. As Tiger fans make their way to the stadium this fall, or once LSU football's back in, what can they expect to see from Rev Fiber to learn more about you via either in-game experience or surrounding installations or whatnot?
Yeah. So to your point, I mean, obviously our brand will be quite visible. We will be, on the scoreboard in Tiger Stadium. We will have padding along the end zone and on the field level. We will have LED ribbons going in the stadium, and that branding and physical elements of our partnership will continue to the other sports as well. So as the year progresses, you're going to see us engage with athletes in other sports as well. So it certainly is not just something that's going to be contained to football. So we're really excited about how that partnership grows and evolves over the upcoming athletic season and into the years to come. So because, as you mentioned, this is a multi-year commitment on our part to LSU athletics.
Where's the goal here? Where do we want to take this? What do we want to see come out of it?
I think it's building the brand. I mean, and certainly for us, that's key. As we expand our footprint, we've got to command brand recognition in the market and make sure folks know who Rev Fiber is, that they know our story of localism and dedication to local customer service. And certainly, the LSU partnership is one aspect of that. As we move forward, we want folks to know that we are much more than even just an internet company. I mentioned earlier, we provide phone and television and security services, but we also have a pretty robust B2B element of our business as well, where we service local businesses for their communication services. We just launched a brand new unified communications platform that allows businesses in one unique platform to call, meet, share files, chat, text. So we are evolving and we are meeting the technology demands of our community, both from a residential and a business perspective.
I've got about a minute left with Monte Danos from Rev Fiber. Let's talk about the fiber. What sets that apart? You're a fiber first internet provider. So what sets that apart when it comes to quality, speed, all the things?
Yeah, so that means, that's a significant investment in and of itself in building fiber directly to the premise, whether that's the home or the business. And with fiber comes a certain level of reliability that you just don't get with traditional coax cable services, if you would. Right. So reliability is key for us. It speaks back to the customer experience, which is paramount for Rev Fiber. And then, of course, fiber also delivers robust speed and bandwidth capabilities. We offer multi-gig services. And when everything in your home is powered by the internet and the Internet of Things, a reliable, robust, fast internet connection is really critical.
In recruiting, they say you want to put a wall up around Louisiana. Hopefully that's the long-term goal for Rev Fiber as well, as they're partnering with LSU. and LSU Sports Properties. Monty, thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Brian, thanks for having us on. We appreciate the time.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon. As Monte Danos from Rev Fiber. We are running a little bit long. We've got David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association up next. It's 8:19, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're behind schedule by about 3.5 minutes. David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association is in with us. How are you, man?
I'm great, man. Good to see you. Thanks for
Likewise.
having me.
How's summer going?
It is busy. Summers used to be a little bit slow in our world after the session. I think everybody could take a breath during the summer, but it's just not that way anymore. There's something every week, every weekend, and but it's good. I mean, it means things are rolling.
So when your predecessor would come in during the summertime, we always had to worry about hurricane season.
Yes.
And like, so fortunately, that's been.
Yeah, and I wasn't even talking about that, but it's interesting you say our health and safety committee met just a couple of weeks ago, and they meet every month, and they talk about best practices, and they do a really great job, really working together, even amongst competitive companies, sharing best practices with each other. So they get together, and most recently they've talked a lot about hurricane preparedness, and that's serious business. I mean, when you're talking about these facilities that do such important work, 1 hour of shutdown is a massive problem, much further than that. So, it's a really important issue along with all the other health and safety issues they deal with.
No, absolutely. And this is one of the things that I love about Louisiana is we make sure to do it the right way.
Yeah.
When you have a health and safety committee, when you have best practices, when you're out front to say, this is what's worked in the past, this is how it can work better, it's working for all of us.
Well, and I think Louisiana is the very best at it.
Oh, so do I.
I mean, you go to any one of our facilities, whether it's an LCA member or not, these folks take this super serious. We're going to a facility this afternoon, in fact, Methanex out in Ascension Parish, and I can't wait for legislators and other local politicians to see this facility. It's beautiful. If a facility like that can be beautiful, this one is. I can assure you. And you could, and these folks are going to see how serious our members are about health, safety, cleanliness, good stewardship of their community. And so I can't wait for them to see that this afternoon.
We're talking with David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association. I hate to do this, but there's a battle going on right now that between the internet and data centers, which is irony in and of itself, there's a battle going on between the internet and data centers right now. And I know when looking at it from the outside in, you're going to have a unique perspective because you've had to walk the battle of beating back the internet crazies before, and now they're sinking their teeth into somebody new.
Well, we called it, right? I mean, we knew a year ago, 2 years ago, that carbon capture was just the latest in the line of things that was going to create the hysteria. Now you're seeing it about data centers. Next, what's it going to be next? Is it going to be nuclear? Is it going to be LNG? Is it going to be something else that we're not talking about yet? It's interesting because Louisiana's in a bit of a gold rush right now. I mean, what an opportunity the state has to really take a step forward when so long we've been at the bottom of the lists, and now all of a sudden we're the #1 state for emerging business investment, and our schools are doing better, and crime is going down, and just things are moving up. Yet we're going to find a way to fight back against this progress, and it's really a shame.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it also downplays legitimate concerns, which are being addressed on a regular basis.
Yeah, look, we have conversations every day with community members who have legitimate concerns. Some of it's because they just haven't been educated about it. Some of it is being driven by this false narrative. But the fact is the communities deserve to get the answers they are looking for, whether it's about power costs or water management or air quality or whatever it might be. We have good answers to all of those things. You can't listen to everything or really much of anything you see on the internet these days, but I would invite community members to go directly to these companies. Come to us at LCA. We will give you the answers. Our companies and the companies that aren't members of LCA, it is in their best interest to be good community partners. That is how they will sustain for years and years and years. And so I've always been amazed at how our members ingrain themselves in these communities in a very positive way. And I think the data centers will do the same thing.
Oh, eventually, yeah. And once they've got to be up and running. Once they're up and running, and you can see what a closed loop water system looks like. Once they start building out their own power generation and maybe even feedback to Entergy along the way. Things like this, once you see it, you could realize that the hype was not worth it.
Well, and we talk about the obvious things with the data centers, but I was with a member of ours, an LCIA member of ours, just a couple of weeks ago, and they are a concrete contractor. They pour concrete, some of the biggest concrete pourers in the state, and they were just talking about this opportunity that all the concrete contractors across the state of Louisiana are going to have, and that's just concrete. Imagine what it is for the electrical companies and the pipe companies and the all the rest of the contractors. This is going to mean for them.
Ryan Terrio over at Parish Aggregate, I mean, they pour the base for the foundation for Meta. I mean, that in and of itself is just that you have individual services that feed into a bigger product. And don't, by the way, ask any teacher in Richland Parish right now how they're doing.
Well, jobs, education. I mean, it's going to rising tide lifts all boats, right? And so we've got to find a way to get the information to the people that would like it, and that's good and fair, and we're all for it. Push back against these false narratives that we're seeing, whether it's about data centers, whether it's about LNG plants, whether it's about carbon capture or whatever it is, and make sure that people understand that this is a step forward.
Has the carbon capture space, has the carbon capture and storage space, has that sort of calmed down a little bit, like the cause heads have moved on to something else?
Well, for the moment, it may be a bit, but I do think we've got an election year next year. Of course, you've got this congressional election through the rest of this year, and then next year, about 1/3 of the state legislature is going to flip over, and so I imagine you'll see some more of it come there. A good conversation with one of the congressional candidates yesterday about that issue. Was very impressed with the discussion we had, but I do think that there is a bit of sanity coming to the discussion, and it's refreshing to see. Now we'll see how long that lasts.
How much is LNG catching in all this? Because I thought the battle for that was long since over with.
Yeah, well, you're starting to see it again, and I think it's from a lot of the same sources. I know in Cameron Parish they're having some very difficult discussions that are happening over the facilities down there, and unfortunately, I think a lot of it, no matter what the quote unquote grassroots effort looks like, I think a lot of it's being manipulated from some of these ENGOs. And but I mean, gosh, what a boon the LNG, has been for the state of Louisiana.
Oh my word! Yes.
Yeah, just the number of jobs, the number of construction jobs, the amount of product coming in and out of the state. And by the way, those facilities rely on our member companies, LCA member companies, for their processes. And so it's not just LNG companies that are.
But elaborate on that, because this is where everybody gets lost in what Louisiana does best.
Yeah,
we're not the monoliths.
No,
we're all the smaller mom and pops that serve up the ladder. That you're not going to have one giant company making the money. You're going to have dozens of companies that have services along the way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not a chemical engineer, so I can't tell you what of our chemicals are being used in the LNG making process, but I know there are some, and our companies are sending their own product to these LNG plants to help make that stuff. But then you think about the boat companies that have to move this stuff, all the contractors that are building these enormous facilities, the jobs that are going to come to these areas, the benefits to the schools and the police departments and the fire departments and local services are just they're just beyond measure when you really come down to it. Ascension Parish is one of the most industrial parishes in the state of Louisiana. Yeah. I think there's 40 chemical plants in Ascension Parish. You know what Ascension Parish also is? The best educated parish in the state of Louisiana and the healthiest parish in the state of Louisiana.
Crazy, isn't it?
You put two and two together and you start seeing a trend. And so I think we as a state have unified our voice. We've got a governor that's pushing hard for this. We've got a legislature that's made their stance very clear on this. We've got a congressional delegation that's behind this progress, and we're in a bit of a gold rush. I said it at the beginning. We've got a real opportunity here to get Louisiana people working, to take this state from 49, 50, where it has been for years, to one of the best states in the country to live in.
A couple more for you before you chat. I think David Cresson heads up the Louisiana Chemistry Association. How do you manage having the different specialties in the different parts of the state? Because I mean, LNG has felt like it feels like LNG is all the Lake Charles area right now.
Yeah.
But when you get up and down the river, you're looking at one thing. When you get over to Lake Charles, you're looking at something else. And then you get further north in the state, and we play different roles everywhere.
Yeah, well, and that's something that I'm learning about as we go. But this, one of these things Louisiana has that goes unnoticed by a lot of folks is this incredible infrastructure across the state of Louisiana, to where these companies actually serve one another.
Right.
And so whether it's the LNG plants in Plaquemines or Cameron or Calcasieu, or the facilities along the river that are LCA members, they are all moving product amongst each other, whether it be on ships, on pipelines, in trucks, on trains. And so they really do work together to provide all these great products. Think about all the ways we live our lives daily, all the things in this room, all the things that make our lives as comfortable as they are.
Oh, yeah.
And they come from right here in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Without this LNG that's coming to the state of Louisiana, we won't have the ability to make power the same way that we have grown accustomed to. And this is going to take us to a new frontier. Without the chemicals that our companies make, we wouldn't have any of the luxuries or the necessities that we rely on every day. And then these data centers, I saw a tweet from the Speaker of the House the other day. What are you willing to give up if we are going to fight against these data centers? Is it your email? Is it your social media? Is it your bank, online banking, whatever it is? It was a great tweet. And we take it all for granted. And all of these products, all of these things we live with, a lot of them originate right here in the state of Louisiana in exactly the way you're talking about, whether it's down in the southwest part of the state, along the river corridor, or down in Plaquemines Parish, or even up north. The entire state is working to make Louisiana's, life better for Louisianians and across the country.
Oh, no, totally. And when it comes to data centers, especially, it's one of the things about the World Wide Web is it's worldwide. So it's great. Like if we build the data centers out here, we have that card to play with those who are utilizing the data centers to attract other jobs here.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be used from anywhere, but like we have that one up right from jump.
Well, and look, even even more basic than that. Imagine the size of a toaster. A toaster-sized space in one of these data centers might have 150 or 200 feet of copper wiring.
Yeah.
All of that wire is coated by rubber and plastic and silicone coatings that are made by plants here in Louisiana. That's just the size of a toaster.
I always think about that.
These things are the
It's
size
so-
of Manhattan. And
Yeah.
so, you're talking about 150 feet in a 1 foot square box. How many miles and miles and miles of this
true.
cable are going to go through these things, and who's going to make that cable, and who's going to make the coatings that go on top of the cable, and who's going to make the coolant that keeps the machinery cool? It's Louisiana companies that are going to do that, and we're looking forward to that.
Very, very cool stuff. He is David Cresson with the Louisiana Chemistry Association. I appreciate a couple minutes this morning.
Always good to be with you, Brian. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. We blew right past ABC News, and I don't care. Here's local news, traffic, weather. We're talking Shark Week next. The conversations shaping Louisiana's future are happening at Legislator 2026. Join me live from Low Bears, Lake Charles, Thursday, August 20th from 4 to 6 p.m. and then Friday, August 21st from 6 to 9 a.m. Talk 107.3 is your front row seat to Legislator 2026. Our coverage presented by the Louisiana Chemistry Association, who you just heard from, Commonwealth LNG, Continuum Strategies, and the TJC Group. Coming up in just a quick minute, we're going to hear from Kendyl Berna. She is a marine conservationist and documentary filmmaker. Last night on SharkWeek, if you're watching SharkWeek like I am, Biggest Mako on Earth was on. That was Kendyl's show. We'll talk with her in just a second. I should tell you that I actually already talked with her. We'll play that interview back for you in just a quick second. But I need a moment to remind you about Landmark Bank. LandmarkBankLA.com is their website. LandmarkBankLA.com. Landmark Bank has been a community bank since 1897. That is a heck of a long time to be pursuing the same mission and succeeding. Now, they've grown into a couple of different communities since then, and I'm sure they'll grow into a couple of new communities along the way. But all the while, keeping that vision the same, keeping the scope of what they do at the forefront, and that is making sure you have a banker and not just a bank. Someone who can walk you through where you want to be. Hey, we're looking at buying our forever home. Okay, we can walk you through that. Hey, we want to save for the future. Okay, we can do that. We want to invest for the future. Okay, we can do that. Hey, I'm a small business and I need help on this, that, or the other front when it comes to fintech. They'll walk you through all of it. Learn more at landmarkbankla.com. All right, it's Shark Week. Here's our conversation with Kendyl Berna. It is once again Shark Week. Well, it's actually started on Sunday, so Shark Week is already off and running. And you know, when it comes to original content, Discovery Channel brings it every single time. Let's talk about the biggest Mako on Earth. This actually premiered on Monday night, but there will be plenty of opportunities for encore episodes along the way. We've got Kendyl Berna on with us, a marine conservationist and documentary filmmaker. Kendyl, welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me. I actually think I spoke with you maybe 2 years ago about Makos. So
okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I was remembering that. And I was hoping I wasn't misremembering that because dirty little secret. I know everybody loves great whites, but Makos are my favorites. Those things are just torpedoes in the water.
Same. I'm also hoping to convert all of your listeners from white shark people to Mako people because I think it's a cooler shark to have be your favorite shark. So if everyone learns more about Makos, I think they can bring some fun facts to any parties that they're at.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're like I said, they're torpedoes in the water, and when they come out of the water, they're shiny. Who doesn't love something shiny?
They are shiny.
They look like they're made out of silver.
Yeah, when you're saying they're torpedoes in the water, they can travel 40 miles an hour at burst speeds to catch prey if need be. So yeah, they really do look like. I encourage everyone to look up a photo or watch the episode because they do look like little torpedoes with wings on them. They're very cool species and very underrated because they don't really overlap with where humans are often because they're in deeper water. So people just don't know that much about them.
So let's talk a little bit about them. You say little, I mean, maybe not so little. What are we looking at when it comes to the size of what you're going after?
Yeah, so it's in the literature written that Makos are 8 to 10 feet. The 8 foot is the males, 10 feet is more the mature females. A lot of sharks have sexual dimorphism, so that means that one sex is larger than the other, and in this case, the females are much bigger, and they mature much later. So we think that off the coast of California, where we did this episode, because there's so much abundance of prey, we're wondering if they're actually able to get bigger here because they kind of have like two different dinner plates to go after here. They have the usual squid and big fish like tuna, and then they also have the marine mammal platter, which is super abundant in the Channel Islands off of California because you can't kill any marine mammals in the U.S., which is a great law to have, but it leads to a lot of seals and sea lions. And so they just have an absolute buffet out here of what they could be eating.
So this all started with, as I understand it, a photo of what appeared to be a 15-foot Mako. What were we able to determine from that photo?
Yeah, so one thing I love about SharkWeek is that unlike normal science that, requires a lot of hard science and repetitive studies to prove something, SharkWeek lets us go off of kind of like these what ifs. And so the photo that we went off of was a photo down in Cabo of a mako shark and a blue shark. And the blue shark looked tiny compared to this mako. So we used that as a launching point to go, that mako looks like 15 feet in this photo. Let's go out and see if we can find something that's a similar size to that. And so that's what the episode was based on, was going out and seeing just how big these makos are getting. And year after year, we are finding makos that are definitely bigger than 10 feet. And so we're trying to see if maybe the ceiling for mako size can be redefined.
You say it's not normal science. I would argue it's more exploration than anything.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And that's what's so fun about Discovery and SharkWeek is that it gives us funding to do these really kind of like out of the box science experiments that you wouldn't normally get an academic grant for. And that's exciting for two reasons. One, it's just more visually interesting for the viewer to watch. And two, it lets us think like 10-year-olds, and that we get to do these things that just aren't really like the accepted scientific method, but end up proving some crazy results. Like I've now gotten to be in the water with, a full-size white shark decoy and a mako at the same time. And like usual science would never be like, let's spend a couple $1,000s building a massive shark and then putting it in the water with a mako. Because, what all are we going to learn from that can be repeated and studied? But you end up learning so much, which is so fun. So that's one of the things I love about SharkWeek is each year we're kind of forced to come up with new methods, new science experiments to keep the viewer interested. But also it's just like so exciting for us to get to do these kind of wacky experiments that otherwise, a grant wouldn't really allow.
Right. Well, because if it's so constrained, you're not going to learn something that's vastly different than what might have been thought of before. And in fact, like over here, we're in South Louisiana right now. We do have short fin makos in the Gulf of Mexico. Gulf of America, whatever. I've never personally seen one, but I know they're out there. How different is it like off the West Coast?
Yeah. So, there's always going to be some regional differences. It's the same species. So unless it goes through enough changes to become a different species, then it is the same. But you will see regional differences in species and both size, coloration, like pectoral fin size, things like that. Mm-hmm. And so that is sort of the premise of the show is, are the mako sharks here getting bigger than they are in other places of the world because we have this mass abundance of marine mammals?
Walk me through process a little bit. What went into because while it's not normal science, there is still a scientific process. Walk me through what y'all went to go out to find the biggest possible mako.
So every year, we take out our liveaboard boat. I always think that's like in some ways more interesting than the show itself, and no one is ever showing the behind the scenes of life on the boat. Right. But it is pretty fun. And then every year, we have Keith Poe, who is a really experienced shark tagger out in these waters. Mm-hmm. He has this like sixth sense for where the sharks are. And he goes there, he's just spent so much time that he just can read all of the elements and know when and where the sharks are going to show up based on just so many years of doing it. And so he'll go out and start chumming for us. And then we go from our liveaboard onto his boat and kind of wait for them to show up, bring all of our equipment over there. Each year we try to have some new equipment, new experiments, things like that in order to keep it interesting. And then you just have to cross your fingers that the sharks are going to show up in the timeline that you want them to. So this year in particular, we had a marine heat wave. And so May, when we filmed this, was a good month for them. Mm-hmm. So the sharks were quite abundant this year, which made it much easier for us. That
was actually my next question was how frequent or how busy was it out there? Because you're talking about a species that's further off the coast, so not used to seeing man around. How did that work out?
They're so intelligent. They have a very large brain to body ratio. And so anytime I'm in the water with a mako, it just feels like such a blessing in a way to get to be like one of the only humans in the world that's getting to have these experiences. just because they're so smart and they really like acknowledge that we aren't prey. You know, they're curious what we are, but they know we're not a piece of tuna. So it is really cool to be able to interact with them in that way.
Well, I mean, they can know we're not a piece of tuna, but they only have one way to test things out and try things out, and that's, you know, what they don't have hands to feel around, I guess, is the wrong thing to have to say there.
Yeah, they usually will. You'll see a lot on SharkWeek. Like most cameramen will have a big camera that they're holding with two hands that has a big underwater dome port on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the sharks love those dome ports because they're kind of shiny and reflective. And so the sharks are almost always bumping their nose off of the dome port.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I say nose, it's not really like a nose like we would have, but the points that you see on a mako shark. So most of the cameramen are able to use that to kind of like bounce them off. I tend to like to have some sort of camera stick as well, just because it's very helpful to have a hand or a limb that isn't actually a limb when you're in the water with sharks, just to be able to kind of use that to redirect them, because they are quite curious. But they're very likely to go for the electromagnetic frequency that your camera is putting out there, because they have special sensors that allow them to detect electromagnetic frequency in a way that we've never found humans to be able to have. So it's helpful to have that extra limb and kind of be able to redirect.
Last one before I get you out of here, we're talking with Kendyl Berna about the biggest mako on Earth. Not going to ask you to spoil whether or not you found something 15 feet or bigger. We'll have to tune in for that. But I do want to ask, do you know what you're working on for next year yet?
No, you know what? It's not. We have to just enjoy SharkWeek before we learn what Discovery is going to greenlight for the following year. But I think we're always thinking. You know, we're always kind of curious how we could make it bigger, better, different. Find more makos, find bigger makos the following year. So yeah, it's always something that we're thinking about. But fingers crossed, we get to keep going out and swimming with them. Showing them to the world, and just kind of, getting to see the ceiling of how big these makos could be getting out here.
Biggest mako on Earth during Shark Week on Discovery. Kendyl Berna, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Michelle to get a vehicle to go to Monroe in.
Looks like it's just you. I'm double checking. I'm a person shop. I think ESPN has everything.
Okay.
Because normally they would be at Malucci. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. And I know Tiger doesn't have a remote. So just take Tiger, since I know you don't have a remote.
Okay. That's Tuesday, like leaving Tuesday after the show and then coming back Friday.
Yeah, just take Tiger.
All right.
The next remote I'm doing is bringing you out, and that's later.
And
So I want to get you stress balls, like the Talk logo, but have your logo, and then have Rolling Right Along. I don't know. We need to get some Rolling Right Along.
Kay's always on me for ordering swag. We just ordered chip clips, magnetic chip clips.
That's what.
And I want more of those coffee mugs because apparently they were a fucking hit. Like people just make your coffee while they're waiting and they take them with them when they're going. I'm like, it's not even a travel mug, but cool. If they like them, they like them. All right. $8:56 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. We got one segment to go. Hey, before we get out of here, let me remind you one more time about 180 Pros. 180pros.com is the website. 330-2200 is the phone number. Love telling you about how they can build out your network, and that's important. But you know, in today's business world, your social media presence is important as well, and your output can only be as good as what you've got built in. So when 180 Pros is building out your network, they're also going to help you on the visual front, on the audio front. All things technology fall under this. So if you're creating content for your own website, if you're creating content for social, you need a camera, you need software, you need all these things built out. They can help you out with that. In fact, this is why they call themselves your IT partner and not just your IT provider. Your IT provider will service your network when it goes down. Your IT partner will collaborate with you on the front end to make sure everything's built out for you. Learn more at 180pros.com. I wanted to pick back up on a conversation we were having with David Cresson from the Louisiana Chemistry Association, and how it kind of ties into what's going on with data centers right now. And you heard the story from our news partners at the Louisiana Radio Network. We are already seeing the economic benefits of the Meta $50 billion data center and the doubling down of that as well. Or the doubling down of the original product. Grow Northeast Louisiana president and CEO Rob Cleveland says just 18 months into construction, sales tax collections are unbelievable. Cut 13.
First year of the project, 2025, our 10 parishes in the region brought in over $383 million in sales tax, which is up over $40 million.
So the Hyperion data center is under construction in Richland Parish, where Cleveland says first quarter sales tax collections reached $38 million. That is 6 times higher than during the same period last year. Cleveland says Meta's investment is also attracting new businesses to the region as well. Cut 14.
Faith Technologies, that's a company that does data center work, and that company is going to invest $80 million and create 200 new jobs in Ouachita Parish.
And just keeping with that, the economic boom, fueling residential development as well, local restaurants and other businesses, they're seeing increased customer traffic too. Cut 15.
Our restaurants have seen huge increases in the amount of people that are coming in, and then many of them are doing catering outside of their normal business activity.
And this is where the devil's in the details, right? It's great to see the construction boom. That's awesome. I'm not going to turn that away. And then you have the jobs that are there once the construction's done and the business is up and running. But it's about creating the whole ecosystem surrounding it. And that's what Monroe's doing. And we're going to be up in Monroe next week to talk about it. Moon's next. Yeah, Facebook. We got, oh, dude, look. First of all, tomorrow is Big Announcement Wednesday. That's all I'm going to say about that. Of course, we'll also talk about Nolan Wells with Franz. But tomorrow is Big Announcement Wednesday. Be on the lookout, yo. And the Louisiana Municipal Association is holding their annual conference in Monroe. So I'm taking the show on the road next Wednesday and Thursday to do 2 shows from up there. We're going to talk LMA for sure, but I want to take a deep dive into what Monroe and West Monroe are doing, what Richland Parish is doing, how they're building out those ecosystems. It's going to be it's going to be a super deep dive into that for 2 straight days. Me and Friday Ellis are just going to be coming at you like a 1-2 punch. It's going to be awesome. I'm super fired up about this because when you see these things happening, they can be replicated. Now, you're not going to replicate $50 billion from Meta, or will you? But it's like, if we could do it, instead of doing one big Meta here in Baton Rouge, if we could do 5 different $10 billion projects, I'm here for that as well. And really, it's going to be about revitalizing, for me, about seeing what they could do to revitalize certain areas of town that have been neglected and haven't had the attention they deserve. So we'll come at you. We're back at it 6 to 9 tomorrow for Big Announcement Wednesday, but be on the lookout for it. A week from tomorrow, we're on the road.